Good evening, good morning, good midday to you. My name is John Horncastle. I am here on the Cool and Smart Book Club podcast, filling in for Barney and Matt. Well, they're in lockdown, and I am joined by a very, very special friend of mine, my nephew, Kenneth Rose.
Hello, Uncle John. It is me, Kenneth Rose. I'm thrilled to be on the Cool and Smart Book Club podcast in lieu of Barney and Matt.
Yeah, isn't it great? I mean, you would be, all used to the kind of COVID experience and lockdowns over there in the United States, wouldn't you?
Oh, I am, but I firmly resisted the lockdowns, Uncle John. You know that about me. I think lockdown, schmockdown. That's what I always said every single time.
But don't you think there's got to be a sense of community and a sense of protecting each other by locking down, staying in, lighting a few candles, reading a good book and just settling in?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I felt a real sense of community in the apartment block that I lived in. Every day I would knock, I would go from door to door. I would shake hands with every resident in that apartment block, and I would rub my sweat on them just to make sure they knew that I was there for them. That's the community that I really value.
Oh, so you're still doing that, are you? The sweat rubbing?
Still doing that. Never will stop doing that, Uncle John. I've done that ever since I was a young boy, and my pastor told me that was the only way to let people know you love them.
Ah, that's right. You're a man of God. We've always said you're the holy one of the family, and not to mention the hole that you have in your stomach.
That's right. I have a hole in my stomach, just like Empty Stomach, the mascot for what I think you guys had in Australia. It was that World Hunger thing. I don't know if you remember that. I remember on a trip when I was younger, I saw he's a little blue man with a hole in his stomach. And his name
World Hunger? I'm hungry all the time. Where's he?
Oh, Uncle John, you are always hungry. That's what I've always loved about you at family dinners and all that kind of stuff. You eat everything that everyone won't eat.
That's right. They have to pull the plate from my hand at the end of Christmas lunch. They have to take the turkey away, hide the stuffing, because otherwise I'll be in there like a rat in a bag.
You will. You're like a rat in a bag. That's what we call you. We call you a rat bag Uncle John around these parts. Mom says hi, by the way.
Oh, well, say hello to your mother, my sister, Marianne, for me. I hope she's doing well.
She's doing fine. She's been better. She's been a lot better. She's been sleeping a lot lately. But, she's tired, so...
Is she unwell?
I mean, probably. She's sleeping a lot, Uncle John, like a lot. So I don't really check because sleeping people skeeve me out. So yeah. I try to avoid that, and I kind of just let her snooze,
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, that sounds... Maybe can we could talk about this after the podcast?
Sure.
That sounds... Do you want to get started with some literary matters, some book matters?
I just wanted to confirm before we got started, Uncle John, because obviously you have a background in community radio and that sort of stuff. I just want to make sure you're clear on what we're doing right now. This is a podcast. This isn't live. This isn't going out direct to people's car radios, people's stereos, that sort of stuff. You're across that?
What? So wait, so nobody is listening to us right now, and we can't give away any of our cash prizes or tickets to go down to the local history museum. I have 15 tickets for the history museum sitting here waiting for callers. My phone is on and waiting. And so what's going on then? What is a podcast?
Right. So right now, the only people that can hear us are you and I and anyone else who's in the immediate vicinity around you. For example, I'm sure my mom can probably hear things if she is awake. She can probably hear us loud and clear. But other than that, this is just being recorded, and then it's going to be beamed out to people's phones, to people's iPhones, to their iPads, their iMacs, and their iWatches, all that sort of stuff. So that's how they're going to access that in due time. You could do like a time-delayed competition if you want.
Well, where's the fun of live radio then? Where's the gaffes? Where's the call-ins? Where's the debate? Engaging the community through the power of the word. Where is that? So wait a minute. So the only people that can hear us are me and you, and your mum if she's awake.
Yeah, so your sister Marianne can hear us at the moment if she's awake, and I don't know if there's anyone else in your house or not. I think you live alone. To my knowledge, you've always lived alone. But
Yes, I'm a man. It's not that I haven't sought love or that I don't want it. I just haven't found it.
yeah, it is. And you know what? We're backing you, Uncle John. We say prayers for you every night. You know, I'm hoping that love finds a way. You know, love will find a way for you, and it's going to come into your life when you least expect it. Frankly.
Well, that would be great if you could tell God that to send His horniest angels. That would be that would be most appreciated.
Absolutely. I mean, as you well know, the Presbyterian sect that we come from is all about the horniness of God's creatures. So I will send a special little prayer up tonight just for you, Uncle John. And I hope anyone who's listening at home, you will also send some prayers for some horny angels to my Uncle John Horncastle.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, but I'm just a little bit confused. That sounds I would like that to happen, but I'm a little bit confused because I'm a man that I'm not decidedly religious, but I have engaged with Christ. I'm wondering if so people listening tonight, that's confusing to me because I don't really understand who's listening apart from me and you. So maybe we should talk about your mother's illness. Who's this going out to? And I got asked. When I replied to that star now,
yeah.
I figured I was coming back to the radio after a long hiatus, but that's not the case.
I mean, can I just say what a remarkable coincidence it was that we both replied to the same Star Now advertisement. You and I, uncle and nephew, worlds apart, haven't really connected in quite a long time. So it's we've got a lot to catch up on. And honestly, Uncle John, it's fine if we talk about mom's illness or any sort of personal stuff because it can be edited, it can be chopped out. That's the magic of podcasting is you have this delay that means you're allowed to sort of, there's a freedom to it, Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so I can wait, hang on. So I can sit here recording this with you, trying to be a professional, and if I go, ooh, booga, 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 then we can cut that bit out. It doesn't matter.
We can cut that out, but why would we? Because that's funny as. That's the thing. I love it when you go, ooh, booga, booga. I've always loved it. Some of my fondest memories from family cookouts that we had when we were younger was when Uncle John would run into the occasion screaming, ooh, booga, booga. And you'd wear that costume.
Yeah, that's right. I'd wear the Booger Boy and from the Booger Brigade costume, and I'd go and I'd chase all the kids and say, "Oh, booger booger, I'm going to put my boogers on you," and yeah, it's one of my greatest tricks.
It's one of your best tricks, and you have so many tricks. And honestly, I'm happy to explore more of those tricks as the podcast goes on. We're here for an hour or so, Uncle John, and obviously we're here to fill in for Matt and Barney from the Cool and Smart Book Club. So I think, as a service to them, maybe we should talk about books a little bit, but really, I'm just happy to see you again, Uncle John.
Oh, it's fantastic to see you, my nephew, again after many years. Obviously, we are staying apart to be together, as Dan Andrews does say. He's our premier over here.
Your premier? Premier? What, like the first time a movie comes out?
Oh, you Yanks, eh? No, he's a mare.
A mare. Okay. Yeah. Like a female horse.
Oh dear.
I'm just playing, Uncle John. I know what a mare is. We have mares in New York City.
I thought we were lost in translation there. I thought I was Scarlett Johansson and you were Bill.
Bill Murray. Yeah, I'm Bill Murray because he's American.
Yeah.
He's an American man.
Exactly. And Scarlett Johansson, she is from her ancestry. Johansson, I'd say that's a Scandinavian name, perhaps. And I believe we have some Scandinavian blood. So I'm her.
I believe we do.
Yeah.
I've loved you always. You have a nose for ancestry. You've always been a real historical kind of guy. You've got these tickets to the History Museum you want to give away. You immediately know Scarlett Johansson's ancestry. Where did you learn this, Uncle John?
Well, when you live alone and you have for your entire life, you have a lot of time to read up on various things, watch Q&A, watch old episodes of Q&A, watch documentaries, read about Scarlett Johansson on the internet. Those are
Yeah.
sort of my main activity. I've got a lot of time for those, especially being retired now. So, yes, I guess, I'm a sponge for knowledge.
You are. And you actually said a very interesting word in there that I'd like to touch on a little bit more. You said the word read several times. Now,
Oh,
may I open this podcast by asking, what do you mean by read? What is reading? What does one read?
yeah, good. Let's open the podcast with this discussion about reading. Yes, I think that's an excellent way to start. So reading is the process by which one interprets the symbols of the ancients, the numerals and letters that may be combined to form words which create meaning, and that meaning is able to be communicated by Dan Andrews, by Scarlett Johansson, by me down at the local history museum, where I can tell you about the smells of the time. I can tell you about the way that horses were for courses during the early 1700s. And that's what reading is.
And you do all of that with reading. That's so versatile. It sounds so versatile. Now for me, I'm 20 to 30 years younger than you, Uncle John. So for me, I don't really think of things in terms of words and reading. I'm all about pictures and experience and living in the present moment. I'm about being here and now and feeling and sensing and listening. And I love what you said about smelling, because I love to smell things too.
Kenneth, can I just check? Because obviously I haven't seen you in a while, but
Yeah,
you still can't read, can you?
that's right. I still can't read. And I am proud of that. I have learned through Christ Jesus, the sexiest angel of them all, that reading is not super important to anything that you do. It's not essential. I accept that my inability to read is part of what makes me great.
Yep. Look, I'm hearing you here, but Kenneth, I think that reading is such a we're here to do a book club podcast, and I think reading is important to our listeners, and it concerns me because we are supposed to be talking about books, but you've, by all intents and purposes, never read one.
Never, not even one. I mean, so I've not read a book in the traditional sense of the word, but I have.
Oh, that's right. You do know how to use Braille.
I do. I've read a lot of Braille books, so that's how I get meaning from things. And also, sometimes I just flip through a book because I find it fascinating. I don't know what it means, but it's interesting to me. All this just ink on paper, and the smell of it is really nice. And so I think I'm still a good candidate for a book club, just not a reading club.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fair enough. We need to include all people. We need to stay away to make it feel safe until it is safe to do so, as Dan Andrews and Scarlett Johansson have said. And I would just like to say that I too very much enjoy the smell of a bookshop. In fact, my local bookshop, Readings, I like to go in there and I like to give it a big sniff, and I like to let those wonderful booksellers down there know, oh, if I could bottle this and take it home, I would. I like to say that.
I loved it when you came to visit us over in New York City, back when that was allowed.
Yeah.
Back when that was allowed. When it was safe to do so, you came over, and I remember we walked around, and I took you to a couple of Barnes & Noble stores, and I loved the way you just walked in. You walk about 3 or 4 yards into the store, and you take a big inhale through your nose. It makes you look kind of like a raging bull, the way your nostrils flare when you do so. And you take a big whiff, and you say exactly what you said. Then you screamed, you bellowed at the top of your lungs. You could tell you'd inhaled so much air into your lungs. You used that for volume, and you said, I love the smell of a bookshop. And then you turned on your heel and you walked out. And we did that in 4 or 5 different Barnes & Nobles.
Yeah.
I loved it.
A bookshop is one of the greatest places in the world, and I like to make sure that the staff know that the environment they are in a smelling sphere, is one of great beauty. It doesn't smell perhaps maybe like how Scarlett Johansson's house might smell.
Of
I imagine
course, of
that
course.
would smell different and perhaps better. But you know, it's
We're both connoisseurs of smell, Uncle John. So I have to ask. I mean, what do you think Scarlett Johansson's house smells like? Because I have
well,
my ideas.
mm,
Because I think it's like coffee and it's kind of citrus. I think a lot
yeah,
of citrus.
yeah, yes, okay.
I think
Well, it's
so. When I think Scarlett Johansson, I think red hair, Black Widow. So I go like citrus, like orange for the hair, and then Black Widow, like a black coffee.
yes. So you don't think with the hair being red, it makes you think of another color, orange, and the fruit
I can't
orange.
read, Uncle John.
That's right. That's
You
right.
have to excuse me certain things.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, Ken. I'm very sorry. Please keep on sending those horny angels my way. So,
Sorry. Yeah, please. Mwah.
well, I'm so pleased you've asked me what Scarlet might, smell like. Because last night, I'll tell you something, Kenneth, and this will happen to you when you get older. I didn't sleep one wink because I was sat up, bolt upright in bed, eyes wide, mouth frothing, ears ringing, just thinking about what Scarlet would smell like. And I think I have an answer.
Okay, hit me. That can I just say that's the difference between you and Mom. That's the difference between you and your sister Marianne is that she can't stop sleeping, whereas you're always bolt upright doing things.
Yeah, I'm active.
You're active. Sorry. So what do you think Scarlett's house smells like?
Well, this is a world first, but I would like to say that Scarlett Johansson's house smells like the plastic when you peel it off a brand new digital device such as an iPhone or a MyPad. That smell.
So, okay. Now, for me, I don't immediately have a sense memory of what that smelled. I don't know if that's a glue. I don't know if that's a polycarbonate or what that is. For me, I mean, is that a sort of synesthesia you've got there? Like you're comparing the smell to the sensation of peeling that?
Well, I recently bought one of those iPhone S's, because I don't need an expensive one that can bloody brush my teeth for me. I just bought the cheap version. And the plastic that was on the screen, well, I can't stop sniffing. I lift up the plastic and I have a little sniff, and it's the only thing I can smell. And I'm happy about that because it is the best smell in the world.
If you could compare that smell to something else, what would it be? Because, like I say, that I don't really have a reference point. I wish I had a reference point for that because it smells incredible. It sounds incredible, I should say. Sorry, sometimes I confuse my senses.
Yes. Well, that's.
I can't read, Uncle John.
I know. Well, I am a little bit concerned about that. How did you manage to go through life up to this point, Kenneth, and never learn how to read and learn Braille, for God's sake?
Yeah, well, I mean, learning Braille isn't that crazy, Uncle John. People do it all the time. It's a well-documented phenomenon. I went to Braille school and they taught me. I said, "Hey, can you teach me Braille?" And they said it would be our absolute pleasure. Because that's the sort of people who teach people Braille are very open-minded and willing to sort of teach anyone Braille. So I was very interested in that.
I guess I just want to ask you though. You went to Braille school on your own admission, but why didn't you go to reading school, Kenneth? Why didn't you go to reading school?
I guess I've just always been a bit of a contrarian. I guess I've just always been kind of different. I don't really like to go with the flow. I like to swim upstream. I like to push against the kind of the dominant thought patterns and stuff of the time. I like to keep people guessing. And I've been like that since I was 5 or 6 or 7, ever since I started rubbing my sweat on people to tell them I love them, ever since you started doing the booger man at family cookouts. You're an inspiration to me in that sense.
Wow.
You kind of, I don't think I ever would have not learned to read if it wasn't for you doing booger man.
Wow. So
yeah.
Am I the cause of your illiteracy?
I wouldn't say you're the cause, but you're a factor. You're part of it. Yep. You're part of it.
Okay. So, but let's remember that correlation doesn't equal causation. So, let's like you said, contribute to the other factors factors at play. And honestly, I think maybe you would have read if iPhones had been invented at that stage, and you could have smelt this smell, because I'm telling you, it's like a limitless pill, and it keeps me going, gives me energy. I've never felt better. And I think that I'm, next time we have a family gathering, when it's safe to do so, when Dan Andrews calls up the UN and says it's safe to do so, and we may be
and Scarlett Johansson announces that it's safe to do so.
Yes. Well, she would be the one to announce it, considering she's a superhero now.
She is.
Yes, that's right. Wearing those tight, long black boots.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Is dare I say, is Scarlett Johansson one of your sexy angels, John?
Scarlett Johansson is, yes, well, I feel a bit weird saying this to my nephew, but she's a hussy.
Oh, okay. Uncle John, that's that's kind of nasty. We don't like to talk about this in the Presbyterian sect I'm a part of. We don't like to talk about the sexy angels that way.
Did I say hussy? I meant she's a pussy. She never wants to do anything crazy anymore.
Okay, Uncle John, that's not heaps better, actually. That's sort of it's kind of misogynistic, derogatory is how we sort of refer to that nowadays. We're quite a progressive sect, as it were.
Oh well, I'm a progressive as well. I vote left. Dan Andrews, Scarlett Johansson. I appreciate. I'm a left leaning man. I just think political correctness has gone a bit mad.
Oh, okay. You're one of those guys. I mean, yeah, I'm with you, because I think the same thing a lot of the time about this whole coronavirus thing. I think that's kind of the way people talk about that, and how you're only allowed to say certain things like it exists and things like that. I think that's ludicrous. Or you shouldn't take ivermectin. You shouldn't take anti-parasite things for animals, that sort of stuff. Like, I think that's ludicrous. People are suppressing us in that sense, and I'm not here for that. I'm all for taking ivermectin. I'm on ivermectin right now.
Right. Well, that's the very stuff that John Bogan's been taking. I read that on the ABC.
John Bogan?
Yeah, John Bogan. Yes, the guy that he's got that. He's on the ABC. The Green
we have a different American ABC is different to Australian ABC. We have the American Broadcasting Corporation, and you have the Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes, but I only engage with the ABC, so I couldn't really. It's that green ABC, the little green symbol. I've got it on my iPhone S. It's the ABC. It's got the green symbol and it's got the black lines in it. And Joe.
Oh, Spotify.
Oh yes. Spotify ABC. Yes.
No, that's not the ABC, Uncle John. That's a completely different app. You can't just. You can't do that thing where you just refer to all your different apps on your phone as different types of the ABC.
They're all, I only engage with the ABC because it's the only credible media corporation in Australia, and so I'm engaging with it at all times. I like to go on my ABC calendar and plan when my ABC shows are on. I make ABC phone calls. I like to go on an app that I call ABC OnlyFans, and
You sent me a message when we were talking about doing this podcast together. You sent me a message on Facebook Messenger. That's not the ABC. You didn't send me.
My tax dollars have gone into creating a chat system so that I may communicate with my family and friends all around the world, as it is not safe to do so in person.
Okay, but that app, it looks like it's like a little icon. It's white background, blue speech bubble with like a lightning bolt in the middle, right?
Yep.
That's Facebook Messenger. That's Facebook Messenger.
Fast ABC.
They're different things, Uncle John. I don't know how to explain it to you any better. The ABC is its own thing. There is an ABC app. I'm confident. I'm sure there would be if you just search on the App Store.
And I bet it's an absolute banger. I should download the specific one. I've only got all the other variants.
The variants?
Yes.
Now you're getting back into this whole coronavirus stuff. I get it.
Well, yes. Well, I've only caught the other variants of the
of
ABC.
The apps, of the ABC apps.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
You haven't got the main strain, is it?
I haven't got the alpha strain or whatever the. What is it? The Wuhan flu? Can we say that? Because
no.
Oh.
No, I don't say that. My Presbyterian sect, we don't say that. Just because we don't like talking about the coronavirus in general. We don't like to even bring it up or mention it because we don't like to talk about things that aren't real or don't exist.
Yes, of course. You want to keep things factual. You want to keep things tied down, which reminds me.
Exactly.
Actually,
We only want to talk about the God and Jesus and the sexy angels.
Exactly. Which reminds me of, I think we should open this podcast by me talking about a book I've just read that I very much enjoyed. That's really just reminded me of the simple things in life. And it's called 12 Rules for Life.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad we're opening this podcast by talking about a book that we both read. That is fantastic. 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson.
That's him.
Psychology man from Toronto, Canada.
Exactly. And that's because, knowing that he's a psychologist, he's got scientific backing behind him, and he's broken things down into 12 easy steps.
And what's fantastic is that for all that, I've been alive for, I think now 25, 26 years. And you've been around for, how old are you again, Uncle John, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm between the ages of 50 and 65.
Okay, that is a huge range, but that's fine.
I slide on the scale. Who knows?
That's great. Yeah, you're nebulous. You pick and choose. But to have been around for that long and to have not had any rules for life has been hard, man.
Yes, that's right. Well, what do you think? I mean, there's been no real rules before these ones. I know that people talk about the 10 Commandments. And
you'd think as a man of God, I would subscribe to those 10 Commandments. But of course, as I say, I'm from a very specific Presbyterian sect, and we sort of disparage rules and regulations. We don't like the 10 Commandments. We only really like the sexy angels. So,
okay.
I've never really gelled with those commandments,
Okay.
Yeah.
So that, absolutely. Everyone, horses for courses. That reminds me of that ivermectin that John Bogan's been having.
That's right. And that I'm also having, and it's good. But I'm not having it for COVID. I'm having it because I'm full of parasites.
How did you pick those up?
I'm just riddled with them. I don't know. You eat some stuff and you get some parasites. I don't know.
Oh, I tell you what. For about
there's worms in my poo, Uncle John.
Oh God. Well, isn't that genetic? For 2 years in the 90s, I had the itchiest bum in the history of the world because I had these things called threadworms that were in my rectum, and they were reproducing a lot. And so every time I would do a poo, it would be riddled with these tiny white worms.
Well, I completely empathize. I completely relate. I have the exact same thing. I don't know. I've never called them threadworms. I just called them little silver wrigglies. But I guess they're probably the same thing. I've never got it checked out. I just go and I get my ivermectin. I Googled it. I thought this is the stuff for me. And I take it. I take a lot of it. I got my mom onto it. She takes a lot of it. Like she takes like a lot of it. And like I say, she's been sleeping a lot lately. And I think that's, she's sleeping off the worms. But yeah, that's what what were you saying?
Oh, we were just gasbagging about the family likelihood of contracting worms.
Yeah, it runs in the family for sure.
You have your sexy angels, and for me during the 90s, living alone here in St Kilda, I for one found solace that every night when I defecated, I would have many a company for a brief period. Yes.
That's like I say, obviously in lockdown, I was going from door to door in the apartment block, and I'm shaking hands, I'm rubbing my sweat on the fellow residents, all that sort of thing. But none of that really compared to sitting down, looking in the bowl and seeing that I had thousands, tens of thousands of friends just sitting, like not just in the bowl, but within me, It's a beautiful thought.
Exactly. It's almost like you're pregnant.
It is. It's like you're pregnant. It's like you're bringing life into the world. It's like a divine conception sort of thing.
Divine conception. Male seahorses are the only species that can be pregnant and be male.
Yeah, male seahorses and you and I, Uncle John. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to.
But of course, one thing I am firm about is that gender is a construct. And so that whole idea, it perhaps is a little bit outdated, and, that's fair enough. But I just wonder if we consider the lobster, as I've been reading about with Jordan B. Peterson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he touches on that, and I think rule number one: stand up straight with your shoulders back.
Yeah.
And he talks about evolutionary hierarchies,
Yeah.
all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
it's good because have you seen a lobster? They stand tall, straight back. You know, if you come across a lobster, you know that you've met one.
Well, you see, I mean, I hate to disagree with Jordan B. Peterson here, but the thing about a lobster is they're actually perfectly horizontal. They don't really stand up whatsoever. They lay flat. They move. They're not even like a scorpion. They don't even have a curving back. You know, they're flat.
Well, I mean, from a certain point of view.
Like, I mean, sure, if you lie on your side, then I guess they're standing up. I guess I hadn't thought of it like that, Uncle John.
Exactly. If you lie down and meet the lobster, in its habitat, you can glean from it messages.
Yeah.
Such as wear a straight back, have a hard shell, don't let anyone in case they hurt you. To be single is to be strong. To be alone is to be strong. And that we must stand together to fight the coronavirus, much like Dan Andrews said.
Right. I agree with everything you said up until you mentioned the coronavirus, when of course my ears switched off and I started thinking about sexy angels. I just start thinking that's our rule. That's one of the rules I do follow. Okay.
Absolutely.
When I hear talk of imaginary things, I think instead about my sexy angels.
Totally. Now, I wonder, you know, because I've attended the theater where Barney and Matt perform, and they once did a show that was about.
Are they any good?
Oh, they're I shouldn't swear, but
on a podcast. You can.
You can. I can swear.
You can swear black and blue. You can say dirty words and go crazy.
Okay, well, here we go then. They're bloody dog mongrelling shitbags of terribleness. I've never seen anything less funny. And I went along to this. I went along to the show to see headlines about the coronavirus and us have a political discussion and a bit of highfalutin humor. And it was the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever seen. And no one knew what was bloody going on. And I remember at that point, watching them and thinking it's too soon to be discussing the coronavirus.
Yeah.
When people want to escape from it. And so I fear that we have spoken about it a lot and we might be falling into the same trap.
No, I think it's fine. I think because we're larger than life people, you know, and I think that makes it okay. But I remember you talking about that show in the family group chat. Actually, you said a lot of stuff about it. You said it looks like they hadn't really prepared the format for what they were doing. It looked like they were sort of they were making it up as they go along in a bad way. It looked like no one was really on board with one another's ideas. You had a lot of constructive feedback for that show, which I appreciated really.
Yeah, yes. And you know, there was a real sense of discommunity on stage with Barney and Matt failing to sort of settle and calm people before going on to do a show.
Yeah.
You know, and perhaps you know, from what I've heard, I'm in the improv conspiracy water cooler. I've added myself in because I've taken level 1 improv.
And, wow, that's
right.
Congratulations, Uncle John.
Thank you. Yes, I did not pass the class. But I did have a lot of fun, and I met some friends that I think will be friends for life.
That's beautiful. I'm so glad that's the case. But so you ended up in the water cooler.
Yeah, it's like as if, you know, we all gather around the water cooler at the office and chat about the weekend and such. So, yep. So I'm in there, and I'm wondering, just from sort of the vibe in there after that particular show, it seems to me that no one will ever work with either of those two again.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, besides, like, we're doing them a favor. They said they'd pay us $450 a piece. So I'm assuming that's USD, not AUD, because terrible exchange rate. Exchange rate.
It's awful at the moment. I've been trying to send you a good birthday present for years, and all I can afford is one of those Donald Duck pens. And I get sick of those.
You were going to give me a Donald Duck pen, Uncle John?
I've been sending you Donald Duck pens every year. Have you not been getting them?
I didn't think you were sending me presents. I forgave you. I didn't worry about it. I just didn't think you'd send me anything. I didn't think we were close enough, but I didn't realize you... Oh my God, really?
Yes, I've been sending you the Donald Duck pens every year.
you.
That's me. When you get one on your birthday, have you been getting them? Have they been arriving?
No,
to you?
I haven't received Donald Duck pen number 1. I don't know if Mom's found them and she's not been giving them to me. I don't know if the postal service has just lost them. I don't know if you got the wrong address.
No.
Could be 100 things.
That is just terrible because I go down to the ABC in South Bank, in Melbourne, and I deposit my letters to the front desk.
Hang on. When you say the ABC, do you mean a post office?
I mean our great Australian Broadcasting Corporation, who beams messages around the world.
Can you describe the logo to me? Because I know I don't read, but I do have an exceptional memory for logos. What does the logo of this building look like?
It's kind of like an infinity sign, but there's an extra bit to it.
Oh, okay. No, that is the ABC.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, okay. Well, they're not going to send me anything, Uncle John.
Right.
They're not a postal service or a delivery company by any means.
But they're our ABC.
Yeah, they're... what does that stand for, Uncle John?
Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and I wanted your present, a Donald Duck pen, broadcast to you. And it seems that it hasn't been... Hang on. This is probably bad. What is it? Podcast practice? But I'm just going to send a quick email.
You're going to send them an email right now? Or you're going to dictate it out loud?
Yes, absolutely. I am going to dictate it out loud. All right, here we go.
Uncle, I just don't... Okay.
Dear Dan Andrews and Scarlett, if you're there.
Okay, I don't know a lot about Australia, but I'm pretty sure the premier or the mayor doesn't work for your broadcasting service.
Well, everyone does. We all service it. The ABC is our ABC.
It's our ABC. Okay, go ahead.
And Scarlett, if you're there. I'm fine, mostly. I've been huffing my phone. Wow, try it. Actually, I have a bone to pick. My nephew isn't getting his Donald Duck pens. Regards, John Horncastle.
You missed so much crucial information. There could be many John Horncastles. Then again, there's probably not that many who are depositing Donald Duck pens at the ABC, so I guess you're probably fine. I'm sorry. Thank you for sending that, Uncle John. I hope that they arrive.
Well, if they can't, if they get confused about the John Horncastles, they can look me up on in the white pages or the yellow pages. Do you have that over in America?
Is that what is that? Is that like?
Oh, it's great. It's a big book that you can open, and when you're feeling, a little bit isolated and alone, being, single for your whole life, and having sought love previously, and thinking maybe you'll give it again, you can open up this big book of telephone numbers and just give people a bell.
Oh, so it's numbers.
Yeah, phone numbers.
Oh, now this is a book I can get behind.
Yeah, right.
This is good.
You're number literate.
I'm numerate. Yeah, I have very strong numeracy skills. I can actually do pretty much any mathematical problem in the snap of a finger in a very, very quick period of time.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, listeners,
try me out.
Call in if you've got a maths problem.
Oh, no, Uncle John.
We'll give you tickets to the local historical fair
Uncle
and
John,
museum.
People can't call in, though. People can't call in. It's a podcast. We released this. This will come out in like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry. Ooga booga booga. We can edit whatever we want.
That's right. You're getting it.
Yeah.
So people can't call in with any kind of information. Hey, do you mind if I open up this podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to just open up this podcast, but just by showing you one of my favorite pictures.
Oh, please.
So this is one of my favorite images. I brought this along because I understood this was also a visual podcast, a video podcast, as well as an audio podcast. So I brought along. This is one of my favorite images. You see that there.
Wow, wait.
What's that? I'm just going to show that to the other camera as well.
What's that? I've actually... wow, is that the pyramids in Giza? Because I've actually got something that I'd like to show as well.
No, this is an oil field.
Oh, fracking.
This is fracking. There's lots of they're fracking there.
Yeah.
And you can actually see, and there's a train down here that's carrying all the fracking.
Yeah.
So they put all the fracking on that after they get it out of here. And that's what I want to be later.
You want to be a fracker?
No, I want to be buried here.
Why do you want to be buried at the oil field, Kenneth?
Because I want, because oil is dinosaur bones, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oil is just bones and stuff from stuff that's billions. One day I want to power a car.
That's very noble of you.
I agree. I think it's really noble. I think I've been racking my brains thinking, I can't read, I can't write. What am I gonna do for my community? And I see cars all the time. I'm always seeing traffic. Traffic's everywhere.
Oh, tell me about it.
Tell me a time you haven't seen traffic, and I'm like, people love being in cars. So if I could help a person be in a car by being I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry, but by being petrol or being oil, then great.
Yep.
Life goal achieved, bucket list ticked.
Wow, that is noble. Yeah. So you do believe in dinosaurs, then? Your sect believes in dinosaurs. They existed.
So the ranking in terms of horny angels is kind of like Jesus, Scojo, and then the dinos.
Yeah.
It's kind of like our top three. So yeah,
wow.
I believe firmly in dinosaurs.
So would you have sex with a dinosaur?
No, because that's forbidden. You're actually we admire it. We don't participate.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Sounds like I've been in this religious sect my whole life.
I mean, that's what I've been saying to you for years, Uncle John. I've been saying, come on board, and you're resisting, and you resist, and you resist. I'm like, come on, it's fun.
I just think there's a chance for me to find love.
And I will continue to pray for you. I will continue to ask for my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Scarlett Johansson, and the Dinos to send the horniest angels your way.
Well, I actually have an image that I'd like to share.
Oh, please, yeah,
that I have brought in. It's
wow,
this here.
Okay, it's fading in and out a little bit with your green screen. Yeah, I can see that. Do you want to show that to your camera as well? Your other camera.
Yeah. So it's
so that people at home can see it.
Yeah. So that's it's Thomas the Tank Engine. I think this might be Percy over here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the crane's called, or this big silver fella.
Show it to me again, because I've read this. I've looked at this book. I haven't read this book. I've looked at this book, and for me, I call them the Yellow Hook. I call them there's Blue Puff.
Yes.
And I can't quite see the third one, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, I call him Angry Billy.
Yes. So I want to be buried here. I want to be buried in the train yard.
That's the funny thing about that is because a train is powered by coal, and coal is also dinosaur bones. So
absolutely.
Maybe I think we're more alike than we think we are, Uncle John.
Yes, the family ties, they are strong. The bonds persist across generations and overseas, while we can't see each other because it's not safe to do so.
That's absolutely right. Not until, of course, Daniel Andrews and Scarlett Johansson permit it.
Exactly.
I'm learning.
Yep, nice. I feel like I haven't properly articulated why Scarlett Johansson would be involved in the Dan Andrews system of government. But so
you provided really little evidence, but I implicitly trust you because of family ties and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So whenever I watch the press conference, I do see Scarlett Johansson there.
Yeah.
But she's hiding because I've asked other people and they cannot see her.
Okay. Now, I mean, I've not seen I only watch really press conferences from my local politicians.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the press conferences you're talking about. So for all I know, Scarlett Johansson is there.
Yep.
Is she there or is she not, Uncle John? It's unclear.
Well, no, well, what I'm saying is she's hiding. She is there, but the only other person that has been able to see her
or sense her
is another person I met back in the 90s when I went to hospital because of worms, and I was in a ward with someone else full of worms as well.
Yeah,
but we've kept in contact, and apparently, well, she can see him as well.
She can also see Scarlett. Okay, so I mean, by the sounds of things, it seems like the worms and the Scarlett Johansson, that seems like that's all kind of connected, right?
I mean, yes, correlation doesn't equal causation.
You keep saying that, and I do not know what it means. I just don't know what it means. It sounds crazy to me. It sounds like kind of, I don't know, smarty pants talk and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Okay, well, let me explain it to you right here.
Okay, I'm listening.
So
I love you, Uncle John.
This is correlation versus causation.
You don't have to say it back.
Okay, so this is it. So what happens is...
You don't have to. Like, it's nice if you do, but you don't have to.
I can't. I can't.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So correlation... So correlation and causation goes a little bit something like this. There were 200 cases of the coronavirus today in Melbourne. Okay.
Can you use a different word? Because it just I've got like a cognitive switch, and when I hear it, I have to start thinking about scripture. So just say jelly beans or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So there were 200 cases of the Wuhan flu.
No, that doesn't work for me either, because I turned that one off because I'm progressive. That's right. So those are the two sects I belong to.
It's where it's from. It's where it's from. If it was from England, I'd call it the pommy whistle, the pommy cough whistle. You know, it's not.
Yeah, but the problem is you wouldn't, because they're sort of the dominant. No one would call it that. You know, that's just not really how things work.
Okay. Well, anyway, to move on with my point.
Say jelly beans or worms or something.
There were 200 cases of jelly beans, right?
That's great. Okay, I understand.
In Melbourne today.
Yeah.
Now, it is unclear as to how the cases have spread. Right?
Yeah, I'm following, yeah.
And there have been events that have occurred that have maybe contributed to it, but they're not the sole reason as to why the cases have gone up. Anyway, so what I would propose to get out of this whole who's done what, who's done this, is I'm going to go into Dan Andrews' office and I'm going to get the 200 COVIDs, the 200 jelly beans, sorry.
Whoa, sorry. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Go again.
Okay, sorry. So I'm going to get them all. I'm going to get the 200 jelly beans. I'm going to collect them up. I'm going to eat them, right? And then I'm going to jump off the Westgate Bridge, and I will save Melbourne from this horrendous pandemic, unprecedented pandemic.
Okay. I'm a little lost, Uncle John. I got to be honest.
I feel like I was perfectly clear.
Okay, can I just say it again for my own benefit, just so I understand? I asked you, what does it mean by correlation implies causation? Now, You said you're going to go into the office of the mayor of your city, and you're going to eat his jelly beans and kill yourself. Am I wrong?
Well, ultimately, does correlation equal causation?
Causation. Okay, I think I get it. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, yeah, that checks out. Correlation implies causation.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about doing correlation implies causation myself.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about doing correlation implies causation myself. I'm thinking about setting myself on fire in Times Square.
Wow, like the monk. What is this a protest of sorts, or what? This has gotten very dark. I hope we don't get in trouble for this.
No, I think this is fun because you're teaching me about science. I didn't realize that was what correlation implies causation means. I thought it was some science stuff. I didn't realize that it just meant to end your own life in a dramatic fashion for a political point. I didn't realize that's what it meant. That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be sort of a protest against kind of consumerism and that sort of stuff. The plan is because, you hear all this stuff. People are talking about ivermectin, and they talk about bleach and ethanol, and intense heat can all cure this, the jelly beans is the word I'm using, so I don't have to have my brain switch off. Yeah. And so my protest is just sort of, I go into Times Square and I drink some bleach and I cover myself in ethanol and I set myself alight. And I say, am I cured now? Am I cured now? And I guess I am. I guess I'm cured of everything,
You think
correlation implies causation, Uncle John?
Yep. Well, I can't debate that. I mean, I'm the one that taught you, the teacher and the student. And at times the student...
Namaste.
Yes, indeed. I love Thai food. So let's let's move on and talk about some books.
We should. Let's open this up. Let's talk about some books. It's about time to start the podcast. We have 45 seconds left. And so let's talk books. I mean, what do you got for me?
Yeah, sure. So I'd like to talk about The Lord of the Rings.
Oh man, I can't touch that one. I'm sorry. I don't know how to even start reading that. It's very limited in terms of pictures, and I'm sure there is a Braille edition, but I just couldn't really get through it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's long, you know. All right. Well, in that case, let's talk about something else. Have you read Harry McClary?
Oh no, I couldn't get even started on that. That's one just scared the crap out of me, if I'm honest.
You found it terrifying. Yeah,
I opened it up and I looked at the pictures and I voided myself of worms almost immediately. It was harrowing reading that book.
So
there's dogs in it, Uncle John.
Well, yes. I mean, you know, that's Harry McClary. I mean, I'm sorry. Am I? You know, you people say I'm being triggered. I've been triggered. You know, whatever. Am I triggering you right now by bringing up Harry McClary?
No, it's okay. I'm keeping a lid on it. You know, I'm staying over it. But sorry. Can you hear my mom's woken up? Are you hearing her?
Oh, that's good. I'm pleased. That's good. Well,
for now, you know, she'll probably have a good 15 minutes in her, and then she's out like a light again.
All right. Well, in that 15 minutes, you make sure that you tell her I miss her and I love her, and I'll see her when it's safe to do so.
She doesn't like really talking about you, Uncle John.
Okay.
It's still things are still pretty raw.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You know, it wasn't a proud moment for me at all. So,
nope.
I
didn't really understand it. I was just a kid, so I didn't really get what was going on. But you know, you did what you did, and you've apologized.
Yeah. Yep, I guess I have. But I mean, you know, I had to try it. I had to try and ride 3 motorbikes. I was in the Crusty Demons, for God's sake.
Yeah. And like I say, I didn't really understand it. I didn't really get it at the time. I said, "What's he doing?" And Mom just wouldn't stop crying. And in retrospect, you know, riding 3 motorbikes at once is badass. But when you're a kid and you see your mom cry, you kind of just focus on that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, the 3 motorbike accident involved the death of your father, and so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
for that.
I forgot about that bit. To be TBH.
What is that? Are you talking about THC? Is that legal?
Should be, brother. I can't remember if it's legal in the place I live or not, because I'm so baked all the time.
Just you want to stay off that stuff. You want to stay off that because it will rot your brain.
Okay. Hey, it's just you brought up we kind of brought up the tension between you and Mom and my dad, that whole thing, and I don't know, I'm feeling kind of bummed out now.
Yeah. Oh, I understand completely. I mean, you know, you must feel, you know, really upset about that, but don't worry. Tell your mum, don't worry, because I'm going to eat all the jelly beans and I'm going to jump off Westgate Bridge and save all of Melbourne.
That's right. And I'm going to drink that bleach and cover myself in ethanol, and I'll set myself ablaze in Times Square. And we should try and sync it up, Uncle John. We should try and sync it up.
The time difference is a nightmare.
And you might not quite understand this, but I'll try and set up like a QR code so that people can kind of watch both at once.
Are you talking about QAnon?
No. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in what they say at all. I believe only in my horny angels and salvation in the arms of Jesus Christ, Scarlett Johansson, and the Apatosaurus.
Good for you, mate. Good for you. I'm so pleased that you're doing so well. You know, it's probably about time we wrap this up. But first of all, please dial in if you would like to win tickets to the local history museum.
Yeah, Uncle John, you need to do this.
There is a fantastic, it's produced by the ABC, and there's some fantastic artifacts that really need looking at.
Okay. Can I show you how it's done?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, follow Kewl and Smert on Instagram, KEWL and SMERT, also on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook as well, and also on TikTok. We are, of course, not Barney Pollock and Matt Young. I've been Kenneth Rose.
And I've been John Horncastle.
Don't question why our last names are different. It actually makes sense if you're uncle and nephew. Now that I think about it, so
Yep, it's totally fine.
look after yourself. Stay safe. Don't get the jab.
I'm going to come back with that and say no. Make sure you get that jab. Make sure you get as many as you can. I have over 600 jabs at my house at the moment that I have kept in a small chest that I keep under the floorboards, and every night it beats like a heart, and I feel guilty that I have 600 of them.
Oh, I know that one. That's from Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart.
It's my life. So
It's your life.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure catching up with you, Uncle John.
It's been a pleasure seeing you, nephew.
I forgive you for killing my dad.
And come down to the History Museum and I'd love to show you around because it's really quite special.
I'll see you when it's safe to do so.
When it's safe to do so.
Love you, Uncle John. You don't have to say it back.
And good day, everyone.
Okay, it's nice if you do, but goodbye.